Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing all the books that I read in March and what I plan to read in April. So without further ado, let's just get started. If I'm being honest, I didn't read that much in March. I only read for the last 5 days of the month. So I don't have a lot to share, but let's just go through it anyways. So the first book I read was Julius Caesar by Shakespeare. This was a book I picked up at the thrift store because I ran out of books to read on vacation. It was a good read. I realized that I've never read Julius Caesar, so I feel like Julius Caesar is quoted a lot, and so I thought that I should finally read it. My copy was kind of cool because on one side it had what words some words meant and then pictures, and then the other side was the actual text. If I'm being honest, I don't have a hard time reading Shakespeare, but I do feel like for most people that would be helpful so that you can get the true understanding of the text. I think I'm going to give this 4 stars. It wasn't overly crazy, but it was still pretty good. I hate this next book. It's Candide by Voltaire. Actually, I take that back. I have mixed feelings on it. It's a short little book, so it wasn't too much of a problem that I didn't like it that much. I don't even want to discuss it, honestly. It's just boring. I would avoid this book unless you like being bored. So the next book I read, I really only read because of my book club that I'm in. We have like a book bingo and we have to fill out prompts. I'm trying to go for a blackout, obviously, and I'm almost there. In April, I should be able to finish that. But this one I solely read for the purpose of the prompt, which was a book that turned into a movie or TV series. So I read You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. All these books came from the thrift store, so I didn't really have a lot of options, but I found this one. It was okay. I think it's a 3-star read. It's not super crazy. It's YA. I think the main character is 13. I think that's the age where you have your bat mitzvah. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe 14. I don't remember. The main character in the book was definitely not as bad as the movie character, which I appreciated though, so I'll give it that. The next book I read was actually a manga, which is the first manga I've ever read, which is pretty crazy. I sometimes read graphic novels as little palate cleansers between other books, but I've never picked up a manga. So this one is called The Girl from the Other Side. I'm not gonna pronounce the name because I'm gonna butcher it so bad. It was really sweet, it was really cute. I definitely want to read all the other volumes. I don't know how I feel about reading a book backwards. I know it's not backwards to everyone, obviously, but here in America, it's backwards to me. But I still really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend. I think I'm gonna give this 5 stars, actually. The next is Fever 1793. This is a YA book. I actually read quite a bit of YA, if I'm being honest. I think I just like how it's simple and easy to read, and the font is a lot bigger, so my eyes don't hurt as bad. This one is about the yellow fever outbreak in 1793. This family in Philadelphia, they live close to George Washington. They own a family coffee shop, and it's kind of about that. And then because of the yellow fever outbreak, they have to go somewhere else for a little bit, and then they realize that it's there too. And so it's just them trying to figure out life with yellow fever. You know what I mean? So it was pretty interesting. I think I'm gonna give this a 4 stars. It wasn't a favorite of mine, but I definitely enjoyed the story, and I definitely want to read her other works. She has a series about slavery. I don't know everything about the series, but it looks pretty interesting. The next book, I'm not going to give a full review because I read it for another video, which is coming out soon. It's Sister Song by Lucy Holland, and that's all I'm gonna give you. And then the last book I read this month was Watership Down. I actually started this book quite a long time ago, but I just recently finished it. It's not that I didn't like it. If I'm being honest, this is probably a 5-star read for me. The thing was, I read the limited series on Netflix. I watched the limited series on Netflix, and I think I was 10 when that came out, which is kind of crazy. I watched that, and so going into this book kind of knowing what happens, it didn't feel as exciting, but there were definitely quite a lot of parts that weren't in the limited series, so I'm really glad that I read this book. Now on to April. I actually already read 1 book in April, and I'm not gonna, again, give a full review because it's in another video, but I read The Road. It's actually pretty good. I really like this book. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5. It had no quotation marks, and it drove me a little crazy, but yeah, I'm a big mood reader. I kind of read books just when I'm in the mood for it, or if it fits for my book club, book bingo, because the prize is a Kindle, so obviously I'm trying really hard to get that blackout, you know what I mean? But there are a few books that I really want to read. I'm actually in the middle of reading two, so I'm not going to go into those ones just because they're part of that video. Again, this is a recent find at the thrift store. It's called Cat Under Fire by Shirley Rosal Murphy. So this cat and his cat girlfriend got the ability to understand and talk human speech. The girlfriend thinks that the man that's in jail for killing someone isn't the one that killed him. So I just think that's really interesting, and the cover is kind of cool. It gives very 80s, 90s book vibes, you know? I love finding books where I feel like no one knows about it. Next one, Hidden in Plain View by Jacqueline L. Tobin and Raymond G. Dubbard, PhD. This is nonfiction, if I remember correctly. It talks about the patterns that they would put on quilts with the Underground Railroad to signify certain things to people passing the Underground Railroad. And I thought that was really interesting, so I was like, you know what? I really want to read this book. And it's not that long, so I think this will be a perfect, good little read in between books in April. Last but not least, another book that I really want to read in April is The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. Basically, this guy, while drunk, sells his wife and children, and it's a tragedy. I love a good tragedy, so I feel like that's all it says on the back, really. I'm excited to read this. Yeah. And then the last three books that I want to talk about are ones that I'm definitely going to read in April, but I don't have a physical copy right now because my mom is sending them through the mail. The first one is Goose Girl by Shannon Hale, I think. I've read that book before and I really liked it, and I want to reread it for my book bingo, but also because I want to continue the series. I'm not exactly sure if each book is a standalone and they're interconnected, or if it's like you need to follow a certain order. I'm not sure, but we're gonna read that one. And then I have the next book, which I think is the next book, is Enna Burning, again by the same author. I'm really excited to read that because I think I got it 2 Christmases ago, so I think it's time. The last book is Six of Crows by I have no idea who, but it's a really popular book and it sounds really interesting. So that's what I'm probably gonna read in April, and that's what I read in May. So May, that's what I read in March. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video of me talking to a camera, nothing fancy, and I'll see you next week, but also next month.